guys, so today I'm going to change it up a bit. I decided to do a music related video today. I just wanted to dive into more music videos. I haven't done a lot of these, but today I'm going to let you know my 10 favorite bands. These are just my top 10 favorite right now. This could change within a half a year. Some of these will stay on my top favorite forever, the first one for sure. I just kind of wanted to put my music taste out there and kind of tell you guys what I've been listening to and who I really like. First is kind of obvious, and that would be Jack's Mannequin, what is now Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness. I have had this favorite artist forever. If you watch my videos, follow my Instagram, or follow my Twitter, which I will put all the links in the bottom bar, you know that I am a huge Andrew McMahon fan. I go to about 1 to 2 shows a year. It just depends on where he is. I haven't traveled super far to see him, but if he's within a state away, I usually try to make an effort to be there. I could go on and on about Andrew, but I highly recommend his music, and I will probably be a fan for life because his lyrics are some of the best lyrics, I think, in the music world. Number 2 is actually a band that I've never seen in concert, and I really want to see them in concert, but every time I check their tour list, they are nowhere near me. But that is The Head and the Heart. Really like their sound. The first song that I heard by them was Lost in My Mind, and I had just discovered them right when they were kind of approaching, I guess you could say, fame. And I remember seeing this music video of him playing the guitar and kind of walking through the snow, and I really just like their tune of things and their lyrics. Again, lyrics is something that really draws me into a band or an artist, and I highly recommend them. I need to see them in concert because I'm sure they are also amazing. Number 3 is actually another artist, and right now she is on Broadway, and that is Sara Bareilles. Every single one of her albums is just super calming, and she always kind of puts that upbeat music in there as well. But this is one artist that I usually wouldn't necessarily love artists like her, but there's something about her sound that really just draws me to her albums and her music. And right now she's on Broadway. I have a guilty pleasure of seeing musicals and loving musicals, so I think that's awesome as well. And I've just kind of grown to really love her music and really like her as an artist. Number 4 is Cab For Cutie. Honestly, if you've been a fan of alternative music for half your life like I have, you have grown to love Cab For Cutie. I love all of their sound. Their albums kind of had themes of how they're feeling or what they were kind of feeling when they were writing, and I just think it kind of can come down to a classic alternative artist, because not alternative bands are going to be around forever, which everybody knows that. I feel like Cab has a pretty strong foundation, and they're a band that can last forever. And if you haven't heard of them, which I know some people don't listen to alternative music or it's not as popular, I can put a few of their songs in the bottom bar for you to listen to. Number 5 is Bad SUNS. And I actually just discovered Bad SUNS maybe in January or February of this year, so I haven't been a fan for that long, but I absolutely love their music and their sound. Everything about how they sing and like their instrumentals and how they name their songs, just everything kind of flows when you listen to their entire album and listen to it from start to finish. And I'm hoping I can see them on tour when they come near my town. Just really think this is a band to watch and that they could really do something big and great. And I know alternative bands don't get as big, which you don't want them to, because then they'll go pop and kind of be destroyed. But this is just a band that can probably end up headlining, and I feel like their sound and kind of like how calm their songs are, I don't know, you just have to take a listen, and I'll put a few of their songs in the bottom bar as well, but they are awesome. Number 6 is a Christian band. Number 6 is a band that I have loved since I was probably 12 or 13. I can't remember the exact year, but it is Switchfoot. I have seen them in concert about 3 times, and I just really connect with their music, and they've been around forever, and they have, you know, I think like 10 albums now. But it is one Christian rock related band that I absolutely love, and if you haven't listened to Switchfoot, or, I mean, everybody probably knows who they are, but I will put a few songs that aren't like their big hits that are absolutely phenomenal in the bottom bar as well, and I will just probably forever not stop loving Switchfoot. And I've actually met them. It was for a brief moment. My fiance got us tickets to meet them, and it was their bus had broken down, and we met them for probably like 10 seconds, and we got a private acoustic performance kind of thing, but we didn't get a lot of time to chat with them, but I still love the band regardless. 7 is Young the Giant. This is probably a band with one of the most unique sounds in alternative music. It's just, I don't know, something draws you in about his voice, and I feel like they are gaining fame. I have not seen them in concert. This is one band that is on my bucket list to see them in concert, but I feel like their energy is really good and everybody kind of likes their sound because they're not crossing over fully into like the pop sound. They're still kind of keeping alternative. But if you haven't listened to Young the Giant, definitely check them out. I suggest listening to an older album rather than their new one because their new one has a bit different sound. So start with Mind Over Matter or their self-titled and you'll probably fall in love just like I did. 8 is a band that I have loved again since I was probably 12 or 13 when their first huge hit single came out, Chasing Cars, and that is Snow Patrol. This is also a band I've never seen in concert. I haven't seen a lot of my favorite bands in concert. I've just seen a lot of smaller bands or bigger acts, and that's because they honestly don't tour as much or they're just kind of starting gaining fame. I have a soft spot in my heart for Snow Patrol and their lyrics are awesome. Their sound changes throughout their albums, which is really cool. And Chasing Cars is a good song, but they have so many more excellent songs and I just can't talk about them enough. I have the entire list of songs that they've ever done in my iTunes and I can just sit there and start from the beginning to the end and listen to all of them and not even get bored, so highly recommend Snow Patrol. 9 is actually going to be a tie because they have super similar sounds, they're just from different countries. The first one is LANY, L-A-N-Y in capital letters, and they are gaining fame like crazy. They just announced their US tour and I really want to see them because they're coming close to us, but it's around my wedding, so I don't know if I'm going to get to do it. The other band is the 1975, which I've seen them in concert. They're awesome. If you haven't seen them in concert and you don't even like alternative music, definitely go to one of their concerts because you will just be blown away by how, I don't know, just like Matt's voice is just crazy. It's just go and tell me how your experience was. These two bands have such a similar sound. I feel like LANY is like the 1975 but the American version, and then the 1975 is kind of just a whole thing into one. They have stories in their lyrics. Again, with lyrics, they have great stories. Their self-titled album is probably one to start with. It's more deep, and their last album has been more like, I wouldn't say poppy, but way more upbeat than their first one. It's like their first one, they kept it really mellow, and then they're like, okay, we can do this now, and kind of made it upbeat. But definitely recommend those two bands. They're more chill and like just relaxing on a Saturday rather than like let's have a party and like get crazy. So definitely take a listen to those two and I think you'll kind of see the similarities in what I'm talking about. 10 is Catfish and the Bottlemen, and I just discovered this band again this year and their sound blew me away when I heard them. I think it was on the radio or I just pulled up my Spotify, and your Discover can kind of cater to what you usually listen to. I was shocked at his voice and the sound, and I believe their top song is Kathleen. It's been played a ton on Spotify. Definitely look up their album The Balcony, and there's also another one called The Ride. You won't be disappointed if you like alternative music, and sometimes there's those bands that everybody else knew about and you didn't, just because it's kind of a band that just not fully popular, but they kind of hang out there and everybody like kind of knows about them, but you might not have run past it on your Spotify or you might not have heard about it from a friend. I live in a town where people like country and pop and rap and stuff like that, so I'm not around a ton of people that like alternative music. There is kind of a music scene here, but there's not as many people that love alternative music versus the country or pop kind of scene, so it is kind of weird that I don't know about all the bands as quickly as I should, because in high school I feel like I knew like every single band, but I'm glad that I found them. Catfish and the Bottlemen, definitely look them up. I will put all of these in the bottom bar just so you guys, if you've never heard of one of them, can listen as well. Those are my top 10 favorite bands at the moment. If you have a top 10 or even top 5, let me know in the comments below. I'm always looking for new bands to listen to. As long as it's not country, then I will most likely love it. It's good to be back on YouTube. I had missed it. I had been gone for a few weeks. I am going to kind of try to get a better setup behind me because I just have an old map behind me right now. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all later.